I'm JJ Bars, and this is Jonathan McKinney.
Hello.
And you are watching another episode of Writing, Talking and Dog Walking. So, today we're going to be talking about the importance of making your story believable even when it's unbelievable.
Okay.
So basically, you're going to throw your characters into situations. I mean, if you're writing fantasy, urban fantasy, sci-fi, anything like that, you're likely to throw your characters in situations that are technically unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have aliens blow up the White House.
Right.
You're going to have witches in a school. You're going to have situations where magic, where fantasy, where science and things are being used in a... Thank you for that contribution.
For the love of God.
So you're going to have them in situations that are technically, logically, by the natures of the law of nature and science and everything, unbelievable. But...
And, before we go to but, even if you're writing a story that's set in the real world, that's set here, that hasn't got any fantasy or supernatural elements or any science fiction or any aliens or anything like that, you're still going to want to be applying a lot of pressure to your character. So it might feel to your character like this is an unusual to the extent that it's unlikely situation to be in, right?
Yeah.
So even stories that are mundane throughout, in the sense of real world, they should still be extraordinary circumstances to your character, because your character is challenged
exactly.
by them.
If it was normal for your character to go through these things, then there wouldn't be a particularly interest. It would just be a day-to-day life experience.
Right. So, yeah.
But even when the circumstances feel unbelievable, you have to treat them like they're believable, which means your characters have to react in a way that is real.
Right.
You can't have your characters be presented with aliens are landing and be like, suddenly I am an expert at all things alien, I speak alien language. It's not believable.
Right.
Even though the fact aliens landing, unbelievable, if your character, without any foreshadowing, any explanation, any life lesson that they have in their armory of personality traits, can suddenly be amazing with weaponry. If there's no reason for it, unbelievable.
Okay.
Speak the language. If there's no history of that, unbelievable.
Right.
If they behave in ways that humans don't behave, if they suddenly are like really confident, I'll go and meet the aliens. They wouldn't. They'd be like, holy fuck, fucking aliens have landed, shock.
Yeah, that's where my mind went when I heard this topic. I thought more along the lines of it has to be believable that the response
definitely
is relatable. So so if you, my friend, were suddenly living your life and aliens attacked the Earth, how would you actually respond? You'd have context for it because you've seen movies where it happens, so you'd probably be terrified because you'd be thinking, is this an Independence Day Mars Attacks scenario? Or is this a nicer one?
Wanda and the Alien.
For example. So, that's where I went. But you're right, just generally speaking, all stories, you've got to have a believability to the way that your characters behave.
They have to have they have to. Here's the thing: even when the story is unbelievable in its conception, the aliens, the witches, the whatever, the extraordinary life circumstances, your characters have to behave in a way that is believable. Otherwise, your audience is going to be like, well, nobody would do that, or nobody would think that, or why can they suddenly do this thing?
Yeah, another thought on when it comes to urban fantasy, paranormal, or aliens, or anything like that. And I touched on it before. The audience, the characters in your story, if you're writing in a contemporary setting, your characters will be genre aware because they have seen and they have read. So they've read, Harry Potter, they've watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and they've seen Independence Day. So if there are aliens, vampires, wizards, witches, whatever, they are familiar with this idea. So in like Shaun of the Dead, like when he says, are there any zombies out there? He's like, don't say that. He's like, what, zombies? And he says, because it's ridiculous. Well, but are there though? He's like, no. But so you deal, like they know what zombies are, but it's weird to them that they have to actually now embrace the fact that they are real.
Exactly. And the thing is as well, if you do it cleverly, say, you can have your characters reference things from pop culture that they would have in their arsenal of references.
Yes, they would.
So if you've got a story with werewolves, you might have your... If you've got a young teenage, or, you know, how old are we now?
How old are we?
No, I'm just thinking, how old are the Twilight fans now? So something in their 20s, perhaps.
Late 20s, 30s,
Yeah.
maybe?
If you've got characters of that sort of age, they might reference Twilight because they're like, oh, is it that kind of werewolf? Or is it a scary werewolf? Because your characters, you want your audience to believe that they are real people, in the moment when they're reading it.
Yeah.
So they should behave how real people would behave.
And as long as you don't make all of your characters have the same reference, your audience won't be booted out by those references.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if one or two of your characters have a familiarity with Twilight, and the rest of your characters don't, your audience members, your readers who don't have a reference point for that, will be able to relate to the ones who don't. And if they all do, if they're all talking about Jacob,
Yes.
is that the name of the werewolf? Then if you're reading it, I haven't read this, I'm not in this anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not one of these people. So.
But you can reference them if it is relevant to your story, and as I say, you're right, do it carefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, you cannot have your characters without suddenly have massive skills with weaponry unless you foreshadow it. And you can foreshadow it, so this character... Oh, you know a good example of this?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's not a very popular film, but you know in Jurassic Park 3...
Yeah.
Right, the girl's a gymnast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that the film is the best one. It's not.
You sure this isn't 2?
Is it 2?
It's Jeff Goldblum's daughter.
Oh yeah, so it's 2. In Jurassic Park 2, right, all the way through they have reference to the fact that this girl is an incredible gymnast. Yeah? So they've foreshadowed it, they've put in hints of it, they've had conversations relevant to their relationship, to her relationship with her mother, things to do with the gymnastics. So when she does that loopy spin and kicks the velociraptor...
She kills velociraptors with her gymnastics.
No, she doesn't. She knocks it through a window. However, it doesn't come out of nowhere. So you wouldn't... If they hadn't put the foreshadowing in for that, when the girl does the loopy flip, kicks the velociraptor, you'd be like, okay, so apparently this girl can do this. But if you put the foreshadowing in for it and then you use it, because you might find that you need a character to be able to do floopy gymnastics. You might be like, oh, if this character could do this, this would make my story brilliant.
Yeah, so okay,
Use it
so
in earlier.
that's a good example. The fact is you want to put your characters in peril, right? If you're telling a story like Jurassic Park, it's a bit boring if they're never in danger. You want velociraptors to attack them at some point. You don't want to kill them off, so you've got to find a way for them to get out of that situation. You've already shown kids running around a kitchen being terrified. That was brilliant, but we don't want to do that again. So you think, what are we going to do this time? So they found a way to foreshadow it, like, when he's getting to know his daughter again and she's like, oh, I got kicked off the gymnastics team, and he's like, oh, that sucks. And then he gets to make the joke when she does her incredible, improbable...
He kicked you off the team?
Exactly. Which, he makes a good point.
But the point is, they put it in.
At least, it rewarded a moment from earlier in the film, which is better than if they got lucky or if the velociraptor was rubbish. You have to find a good way to...
Exactly.
Yeah, we're a little off point.
No, but we're not. Because the only reason that moment was believable is because they put it in earlier. Otherwise, it would have had no context and nobody would buy it. As it was, you buy it. I bought it because of the foreshadowing earlier that made it real.
Great.
So yeah, that is our advice on how to make your story believable even when it's unbelievable.
Cool.
So thank you very much for watching.
One last thought.
Go for it.
When you've got your sciencey character explaining things, don't have one of the rest of them do the in English, please.
You hate that, don't you?
No, it's not that I hate it. It's just it's been done to death. You don't need to hear it anymore. So, this pertains to this video because again, your characters have all seen a million movies where that happens, so no one would do it. Anybody who would do it would say, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to be the in English please guy because I don't understand what you're saying. And even that's a more creative way of solving the problem, but maybe just don't do it at all. Just have the fact that your science person understands that they have to explain things in a way that people can understand because they're not weird robots. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So maybe do that instead. Because again, your characters are genre aware. And so, yeah, that's my thinking.
Thank you very much for watching. If you stay to the end of the video, there's going to be links to subscribe and to watch other videos down here. So just wait for a couple of seconds and they'll come up. Thank you very much for watching. If you could please like and subscribe to this channel. like this video, subscribe to this channel. We can keep bringing you the free writing advice that you want. Hopefully we'll be able to make you better and more confident writers. Also, you can find us on social media. I'm on Twitter, he's on Twitter. We're Judy Ann Rose and John Muck. Come talk to us. We're always hashtagging the writing community. Let us know if you have any questions or things that you want us to talk about. Also, drop a comment below and we will try and respond to everybody we can if you have any questions that you want us to do. So we'll do them. Come and talk to us, and yeah, that would be great. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.